Good morning, Americans. This is your favorite alien and Bubba here on the morning of Tuesday, March 30th, 2021. Well, what do we know? It's been 40 years since Mr. Hinckley tried to shoot President Reagan back on March 30th, 1981. Yes. Well, today's comment is on racism. And how I will refer to it as racism. What racism? There is no racism in the United States or this planet. And let me specify why I say this to you African Americans who are going to be, yeah. We don't need the, okay? So stop that. Here's why I say there's no racism on this planet, ever. There's only one race, and it's the human race. I've been saying that time after time, and you guys seem to have watermelons about this. Show me another race besides mine, but I'm human. You can test me to the doctor or anything you want. Now, come up human, because I'm in a human host. But if I was in my own body, there would be some differences. I got different organs. My heart's in the wrong place, just like the Vulcan. You know, I don't have green blood, though. But I don't have the red blood that you got. My blood's a little more purple. Yeah, that's because we don't have the carbon and copper, that you guys got in your blood. Ours is a little different. But be that as it may, there is no racism on this planet. What you had since time immemorial, and I'll go through it in just a second, is discrimination based on nationalism and class. Okay? The nationalism discrimination started way back with the Sumerians. When they created Sumer, and you had other cities, states in the Mesopotamia area, Babylonia, Ur, Nineveh, to name a few, those cities were second class because Sumer was number one. And this was followed for millennia. This is the way the discrimination was done. If you were from another city, you were a second class. That way, discriminate against you, and you didn't have the rights that the Sumerians had. And that followed on with other civilizations, Egyptian and the Roman. Roman citizenship was automatic if you lived in the city of Rome. It was granted to the military people that didn't live in the city of Rome if you spent 25 years. Then you became a Roman citizen. Otherwise, you were in the empire as second-class citizens who we could do anything we want to. And not all Roman citizens were equal either, under the law. The Greeks had the same thing. If you were from Athens, and you were from Sparta, or Thrace, or the other city-states in the Greece, you were different. There was no Greek nationalism. When these empires came and went, the stigma stayed and became not only class, but it also became pigmentational, as in the Egyptians with the Nubians. They started the pigmentation issue. So that is where that came in. And then you have the Asians who had discrimination too. China had different kingdoms at the time. It wasn't a united China, same time as the Sumerians. India, up until recently, and it still, in some places, still adheres to their caste system. The untouchables being way at the bottom. Yeah. You Indians know, and you Hindus know exactly who's on top and who's at the bottom. So the United States can't say there's racism here. There is pigmentation and class discrimination is what you got here. And then you add on the police, who added their own discrimination with their choice of words. Even in the lexicon of the country, instead of having a suspect, it's a perp. That means you're bad. You're a pervert or you're a perp, according to the police. That should never have happened. You're a person of interest or a suspect, yes. And that doesn't mean that you're guilty. That means that you're under investigation. Period. That does not mean we do a Chauvin type thing like he did to Mr. Floyd. That is not allowed. If a person, and this is what I'm saying with your civilization here in America, your society is a disaster. The way to handle people like Mr. Floyd, you're arresting him for what? Being a drug addict? And then you want to put him in the paddy wagon as you do somebody who killed a cop or somebody who killed another person. Take a life. That is two different ways of looking at things. And you don't treat him because he's African American as a perp. Mr. Chauvin did, and he has no remorse from that at all that I've seen there. And this is one of the problems that you have. You haven't taught your society what it is to be a society. Your parents teach kids how to hate both blacks, whites, yellow, and whatever you are. And you bring your baggage from other countries. You Asians still look at yourself as Asians, even though you haven't been in Asia for a long time. You Africans, African Americans, see yourself as African Americans, even though you haven't been in Africa for a long time. And I bet you if I put a guy from Nigeria and a guy from Chicago, they got nothing in common because the centuries separate you two. You may look the same, but you have nothing in common because I've talked to a lot of different people from other countries in Africa saying, what is wrong with those African American blacks in the United States? And they have suffered discrimination at the hands of the Europeans, whoever handled their country. Kenya, the British, Nigeria, or the Congo with the Belgians. And the Dutch. The Dutch were really bad too. See what I mean? So were the Spanish. And so are the Africans. Africans were bad to you guys because they used to sell you. Your own people used to sell you when they were so-called independent to the Europeans back in the 15th, 16th, and 17th centuries. And then when the European countries started taking off as African, they were in the same boat that the people that they sold centuries before. There is no such thing as racism here. You have pigmentation issues, class issues, and factions. Until you understand what that is, you're never going to get your society right. In this case with Mr. Chauvin being tried for Mr. Floyd, they were both at fault here. Mr. Chauvin was at fault because he should have reported Mr. Floyd to his superiors and say, I don't want to arrest him, but we should put him on notice that we don't allow this kind of behavior and talk to the people that Mr. Floyd associates with and his family and said, we can't allow this. The next time we're going to get him. And he should just go in, get arrested because he has violated the law. And that's the problem with you African Americans. You violate the law and you want to get away from it. The law is the law, but the law has to be more equal, not equal, but the justice has to be spread evenly throughout, whether you're pigmentation issues or class issues. And the police have not done that. They've had their own bias. Oh, you look different, so you're automatically a suspect. That can't happen. Mr. Floyd was wrong. Mr. Chauvin was wrong. Both. And you had a life that lost for the stupidness of both people. Mr. Chauvin should have just said, okay, You got African Americans that are attorneys. Use them. And look what the family got. $27 million from the city of Minneapolis. For what? In the city of Minneapolis, you're paying this money out. Why? So that you don't say we don't have no wrongdoing? What is the use of money? Minneapolis, the city should have told the Floyd people, we made a huge mistake here. Our police department and our officer was at fault. And the Floyd family. We knew that Mr. Floyd had these problems, yet we didn't approach the police because we can't talk to them. They don't talk to us. And that's what they should have told the city of Minneapolis. We got to get this straightened out somewhere or another, down the line. This is the way a society works. My society works that same way. We do have law enforcement in my society, but our crime is 0.1% of yours because of our issues and how we handle our society. Do we have absolute rights? No. But we have guarantees and the way you can live your life within a society. A society is composed of individuals. If one individual is a rotten apple, the whole society pays for it. It's not an individual that controls the society. It's a society of individuals, and each individual's got to know that society comes first and you are second. Not you are first and the society's, oh hell, to hell with you. So am I making sense here to you Americans? That's why I said you don't have any racism, because there's planet-wide, there's never been any racism here, ever. It's been an issue of class, it's been an issue of nationalism, and it's been an issue of pigmentation issues. Discrimination. Because of the way you look, the way you act, or the way who you are. I hope this understands you guys. Yesterday I read you a letter from somebody who sent it to me. And it looked like he was a little ticked off at you guys. I would be too. He was ticked off at my ancestors because he let them blow themselves up. And he's going to let you blow yourselves up or get yourself killed because of your stupidity. When are you going to wise up and say, we got to change our societies here, period? This is your favorite alien, and Bubba. Good day.